guys, right here on the FITAID Morning Show with Kenny and Jackie. We've had so many great guests all weekend long, from Olympians to CrossFit athletes to former gladiators. But right now, on the big comfy couch, we have a New York Times bestseller, and not only one book, but Christmas has a second book. Christmas, tell us about the new book.
Thank you, Kenny. I'm thrilled about it. So the first one was all about nutrition and fitness, and just putting down some building blocks for you to understand and really get a nice hold on that. Yeah. This second one is all about your lifestyle. So it's creating good habits. It's called The Badass Life. It comes out May 23rd. Pre-sales start soon. And really it's just about that mind, body, spirit, creating that mental tenacity that we talk about, that we need in order to be able to get through the day and not let the day dominate us, but we dominate the day.
What was the inspiration for the second book? The first book, New York Times bestseller, right?
It was a national bestseller. New York Times, book number 2, okay? Book number 2.
So what was the inspiration for the second book?
The second book was really, it's an accumulation of my life experiences. People are always like, how do you handle so much? What do you do on a daily basis? And really, kind of how the first book was organically created, that's how the second book came along.
Yeah.
The fans were asking questions, people were asking questions, how I balance business, life, personal, and create these habits and these systems that allow me to excel and not get boggled down by life. So really, it was a lot of personal experiences, but a very clear and concise checklist, if you will, and a guide to be able to kind of just structure in a way that makes you be more successful without all the crazy stress.
Here in the fitness world, everybody's so worried about the aesthetics and the physical aspect, and you're now tackling that mental aspect. So give us 3 pointers that you tell most people, or give us the elevator pitch on the second book.
If your mind isn't right, your body's not going to follow. So if you know that you can get through something, and I don't want to talk about, it's not all about fitness based. So this is about being able to balance
lifestyle,
your daily life. And a lot of us think that if we eat this and train that, then we're automatically going to be at a certain level.
Yeah.
And a lot of people forget that there's so many unknown or variables that influence your day. So your stress level, your water intake, your supplement level, how do you treat yourself? Mental thinking that you can or you don't want to or you can't. Well, even like when people get there and I'm like, okay, I need you to try something, and they're like, okay, they're already having this negative attachment to trying it, so they're not going to be able to apply themselves fully. But I would say, lie to yourself. Do affirmations, schedule your day, things that are so easy to do, and it literally shifts your mental thinking.
Absolutely, because you may never be able to get to that physical aspect if you can't get there mentally.
You know what? Our body is the vehicle. The mind is like the engine and the nucleus of what we can do. And if you do not put your mind there first, your body's not going to follow. So it's connected. It's really about mind, body, spirit.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, you have to balance them all. I talk about creating this mental tenacity, this drive, this push that like every day is yours. It doesn't have to be epic. You don't have to be moving mountains, but you have to be moving forward, because if you're not moving forward, you're moving back. There is no such thing as idle life.
Yeah. I heard a great quote the other day. Somebody told me, mountains aren't meant to be carried, they're meant to be climbed. So take that step forward. Yeah. Well, move them too. I don't know if I can move any. Me and Jackie were just talking about the other day. She kind of took a little time to herself, traveled the world. Jackie, tell us a little bit about your traveling experiences.
I think I just realized one day that all I had to show for my life was 8 hours in a gym, training clients and working out. And I felt like life was passing me by and I was still there doing the same thing. And I think I just said, fuck it. Like, I'm going to just shift my focus on living every day and enjoying it, meeting people, trying different things. And it might have not have been a good move in a way that I just left everything. I said, I'm out.
Yeah.
And then I came back and it was like, oh shit. But I think mentally and I always talk about Christmas. She's like almost mentors me. I'm like, I'm stuck. Like, like we all go through, you've evolved plenty through everything you've done, fitness, business. And someone like me who doesn't know what they want needs somebody to look to, like, look, she did it. How'd you do it? Because that's the only way that we're going to find a path. is by seeing someone that says, look at what I went through, look at what I did.
Yeah.
I wrote a fucking book. You know, like 10 years ago, you didn't think that you'd write a book and people would be like, oh my God, you changed my fucking life.
Yeah.
But I think people like me and a lot of people who get stuck in the fitness world have a hard time seeing beyond their body and their fitness. I don't want to be just a body. I don't want people to say, oh, she looks good, and that's it. I want to be more than that, and I think that you've proven that you could be a body and be more than that, because most girls are just a body, and when they lose it, they have nothing to show for it. So, I mean, that's very admirable for us.
Yeah, so now the first book was last year, correct?
2 years ago.
Oh my God, it's been that long.
Yeah.
Okay. So does it get easier? I mean, I wouldn't even know where to start writing a book. My book would have maybe 3 pages in it. I don't have much to say.
You know, the process is like anything else. You have to embrace the journey. It was difficult for me.
Yeah.
It was difficult because I have so much experience in so many different things. You know, I learned a lot contracting in Iraq, and I learned a lot of the things from the guys the military that I worked with.
Yeah.
And I'm just so grateful for that experience, because they taught me that even though I'm chaotic in the inside, like I tell people, the example is tennis balls in a dryer. That's my brain. And if it were up to me, I would have no structure in my life. But I learned that having a daily schedule. So for example, one of the things is write out your schedule. The night before, I take 2 minutes and I go 8 a.m. I'm going to do this. 8:30 I'm going to do that. And what happens is I'm able to prioritize my day with an assigned time. And what it does is it puts a realistic perspective on what I can accomplish in a day. And if I don't get to the 20 things, but instead I get to the 5 most important, then I can push the 20 things to tomorrow, and I don't feel like a failure at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So working with the military really taught me how to structure my day and be more efficient with my time, and put my focus towards what I'm actually working towards versus distraction. And that's the stuff that I love sharing in this book, because people struggle with it all the time.
Yeah.
It's like death by 1,000 paper cuts. You know, there's just tons of teeny little things that distract us from what we actually need to be working towards.
Yeah. Well, and you know, I think I would consider this obviously a self-help book, correct?
You know, it's so funny. It's like self-help. I'm okay with self-help, okay? I've been in therapy when I was a teenager. I think that my therapy now is meditation, working out, recovery, part of that, vacation. I think it is part of the wellness aspect. I mean, it really is. You know, if you're mentally a little off, it's going to throw off everything else. So I think that's the most important aspect. I would say mental health, then physical health afterwards. So who would you recommend this book for? Honestly, every person out there. Even if you are so efficient with your day, you're going to be able to take something away from here. Yeah. And I definitely need it, because I have unbelievable scatterbrain. Kenny, I've been trying to coach you for years. I know. I'm just a little all over the place, but that's why I think we got along, because I could relate to you on so many different levels, where you're like, oh, the tennis balls in a dryer. I'm like, yeah, that's every day of my life. I cannot get a handle on it. You know, people are going to automatically think that, you know, the fitness community is going to be able to relate to it, but also entrepreneurs, people that are balancing both, brand development. Yeah. There's a lot of people that it's just kind of like one of those, you're going to be able to take a handful of major things away, and be able to apply them. It's kind of like going to a mastermind. You get this water fire hydrant of information. You've been lucky enough to work with all those guys. You're able to take a few things away, implement it, and then you're going to be able to see a huge transformation, even just by a few key pieces. So for someone who's so inspirational, you're working on your second book, who are a couple mentors that kind of have pushed you in this direction? There's been a lot of really great influencers here. I love the Barbell Shrug guys. I think all of them have such a great perspective to share. I love working with Aaron of FITAID. I know it sounds like such a plug, but he really, whenever we sit down and see each other, we just spitball, and like he's like, tell me what you're working on, and he gives me input on what he thinks of the situation. I've been really fortunate to be able to be around some of these and just kind of be a fly on the wall sometimes, and also be part of the conversation at times. Yeah. Well, you're at this point, you're basically like a mogul. You got 2 books, you got a gym, you got 100 things going on. Tell us where everybody could catch up and kind of see all the stuff you're doing. Oh man, I just have to say, I love my life so much, and I'd love my life too if I were you.
If I could wake up every day naked and look like that, hang out with Jenny every once in a while.
Well, I mean, it's important that you know that every day is not going to be the best day ever.
Yeah.
And what I call, so there's a couple of things that I want to share that I do. One, since it's the new year, I name every year. So every year I start the year with an intention. Yeah. And usually it's something that I need to work on and I need to personally grow. Like one year, and it doesn't sound fun or glamorous, but I embrace vulnerability. You know, I used to be like hard ass. I'm like, oh, you can't get me. You know, I'm a shield. So I was like, you know what? I need to figure out how to open up. And we were talking with Tate about this earlier, and just allow people into my heart a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And it was so powerful and transformative that I was able to use that vulnerability and that hurt and make it into a positive. So that's something that I'm excited about. This year is take the time and magic, like magical. Something magical is going to happen this year.
Well, I think something magical has happened since the last time we talked. You're wearing something on your hand that you haven't mentioned yet. Somebody got engaged, right?
He's a very brave man.
Absolutely.
He loves my crazy.
Yeah.
Accepts me for just the way that I am. And, you know, he's the strong, silent type, but he's 100% supportive, and he thinks that I can conquer and rule the world.
How did it happen?
You know, we were with a mutual friend having dinner, and he was like, want to get a drink? And I was like, I love drinking. So we got a drink. And
that's the problem with this whole crew back here.
A while later, in the middle of a hurricane, he said he doesn't want to do the rest of his life without me. So it was pretty amazing. He proposed in the middle of the hurricane.
Wow. Well,
yeah.
Well, I was getting your last rites there, and maybe this hurricane might take us both out. It's not
we were like
on.
watching trees fly across the backyard of our house, and
we don't have that up in New York.
And I'm like, okay, the tree's gonna fall in our house. We're gonna die today, but we're also gonna get engaged.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
I call that FIFO, where it's like figure it fucking out.
Yeah.
That's just kind of like being
you had an amazing 2016. Right? You got engaged. You know, the book came out 2 years ago, but obviously still some traction for that. 2017, what can we expect? You got the new book.
Crushing it.
What?
I'm not in what I call harvest phase yet. I'm still planting a lot of seeds. I'm still doing a lot of collaboratives. And so I have the book coming out. I'll do a book tour. I'm doing a little bit of a public speaking circuit, which I'm thrilled about.
It's awesome.
I have a nutrition website for nutrition coaching coming out, launching relatively soon.
Okay, cool.
I'm doing some really cool side projects in the entertainment industry, which I'm dabbling in, and it fascinates me. And talk about embracing vulnerability. You understand this quite a bit.
All too well.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And September, I get hitched. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So from the original hot ladies of CrossFit, because there's not one guy who started CrossFit in the last 10 years, probably hasn't used one of you as a screensaver. I know I had both of you up at one time. I thought we were going somewhere else with that. What's one piece of advice you want to leave everybody with? I want one from both of you.
You go first.
Oh, man. Applicable to...
What? Life, just in general. What's one piece of advice a young girl comes up to you, starting to get into the CrossFit world?
Yeah.
You know, kind of just very, you know, naive to the world. What advice would you give her?
You know, each person needs different things. So, and the best person to assess that is you.
Yeah.
You got to bounce that idea off of somebody else and get an outside perspective occasionally. But, however, if you believe it, you can do it. And don't let anybody else determine what your dreams are, because they're not living your fucking life.
Great.
And if I had listened to anybody else, I wouldn't have done any of the things that I have done. And allow yourself to believe in yourself and allow yourself to defy everybody's doubts. And it gets me riled up, and I want to like slap something and flip a fucking table right now.
Get very passionate.
It's your life.
Yeah.
You know, you can have weighted input from other people, but you are the one that will decide whether or not it's going to work. You are the one that will figure it out. You are the one that is going to put in the work and make the results happen. So it just, if you love it, run with it.
Jackie, I saw you yesterday with Mia, when we went to the gym, and you were so good with her. And it's like, man, I can really now see knocking up Jackie and giving her a couple of those. I'm afraid you are Mexican. We might have like 12 of them.
He's like, can't do one, we're going to do 11.
We're gonna have 11 of them running around the house.
Mine is always, honestly, I think people forget to enjoy the journey. Yeah. And I feel like one day it's going to be gone. You're going to be like, shit, I was so focused on the end goal that I missed the point.
Yeah.
So for me, that's huge. I might enjoy the journey a little too much. That's probably my biggest problem. But just really learning from your mistakes and growing. Yeah. We tend to like get held back by stupid things that you just need to let go and keep going past. But we hold on to these things and we let them define us.
I think for the both of you guys have been in the spotlight for a while now. And just as much positive feedback that you guys get, young girls coming up to you, and that young girl idolizes the hell out of you. I mean, she didn't want to leave your side. Yeah. And you have so many people who like stop you and want to take pictures with you. The negative feedback, if you guys ever let it affect you, it would have probably stopped you from doing half the stuff you would have done, correct?
I don't let it stop me. Yeah. I let it, it's just a splash to the fire. It does not fuel me. Yeah. What fuels me is my purpose. Yeah. And if you don't know what your purpose is, then you're wandering and you're going to listen to everybody or you're going to do things that you don't want to do. But honestly, with the negative feedback, sometimes I'll let it douse the fire. But I actually kind of take it as an opportunity. Occasionally, I take it as an opportunity to educate and elevate. Yeah. Where I'm like, look, on my Instagram, if you're going to come in and say trashy, this shouldn't be allowed, and like it's not even like it's ridiculous. Yeah. Then what I always respond in a polite, positive manner because I am going to be the example of what you should do in rebutting what they're saying. Mm-hmm. And usually I get banned and deleted from whoever they are. But it's important for me to set that example is that you can address that negative, those negative comments and feedback. But if you're going to do it, for me, it's important to do it in a positive and elevating manner that shows that you can be a lady about it.
Jackie?
I think at first it's hard not to. It's very easy to get bullied on social media. Someone can say you're stupid and ugly, and even though you know you're not, like it still kind of hurts. Like words do hurt. But I think now it's just so much that it's just all flows out. Yeah. Like at first it was a little bit, and that kind of hurt because I'm like, you don't even know me. Now there's so much that I see, and I know people are like, oh yeah, I'm just an internet troll. Yeah, I just go on people's pages talk shit. And I was like, okay, well that's really annoying, but that just showed me there's just people like you out there just wanting to like poke you. And I used to explode, and I'd say, go fuck yourself, you don't know anything. And then I was like, why even give them that word? I block and delete them now. Because the easiest way to shut them up is just by ignoring them, and they freaking hate that.
Well, listen,
and I'm not saying I respond to everyone. I know I keep hijacking you.
Go ahead, go ahead.
I don't respond to everyone, but sometimes, and occasionally, it happens usually every 3 or 4 months, that I just have to stand up and defend myself. Yeah. And I have to show them that you can be a nice person or have criticism in a positive way.
But I feel like you fight back with facts, and I think I like that. It's not just words. It's like, oh, you don't do shit. You're there. You're like, well, I've done this and that and that. So it's not like you're coming back being mean. It's just like you're wrong. And this is
the resume bullet point is a real one that shuts them up fast.
You guys have both done some amazing things. It's an honor to sit on the couch with both of you guys. You heard it here first, right on the FITAID Morning Show. Christmas book's coming out when?
It releases May 23rd. Pre-orders next week.
Awesome.
I don't know. I think like February 18th.
On your website.
And January 18th on the website.
On Amazon?
It's going to be Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Books A Million, my website, HarperCollins. Thank you so much. Love you guys.
And the book is called?
Badass Life.
The Badass Life. So if you got the Badass Body Diet was the first one, and the Badass Life. So catch up on that. Follow these two ladies. I'm sure most of you already do. And as always, ladies, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You really turned a schlub's life around. Thank you. Just an average Joe hanging out with two beautiful ladies.